This video is powered by the pros at Pascal Air Plumbing and Electric. Arkansas owned, Arkansas operated. GoPascal.com.
Excited to play Missouri. Obviously we're disappointed we're not going to be bowl eligible, but we have a lot to play for, especially since we're playing our rival and a really good football team in Missouri. Offensively, just outstanding at everywhere. Really good offensive line, quarterbacks, fast, mobile, can throw, got great receivers. Running back is a beast. And then on defense, they're playing really well in the secondary. Safeties are very, very physical. Obviously up front, Robinson has got a lot of sacks, and they've got they out physical to us last year, and certainly have a physical team, really good team. Eli's done a really good job there. But we're excited to obviously play our rival.
Coach Hunter obviously threw his support behind you, addressed the team, and did you know he was going to do that? And
Did not. No.
What was your reaction personally?
Well, I mean, there's a lot of emotion in the room, but I didn't know it. But he wanted to address the team right before we finished with the conversation, and it was really cool because of the kids. They went off, and it was I don't ever want to get in that situation, but it was a special moment to be a part of. It was really cool.
For him to come out and do that in terms of future stability with the program, not obviously you, but for everything else.
Well, I think it's really big because we're getting a lot of negative from coaches, in recruiting, and I'll say this: I think when you sign up for the SEC, you have to win. I mean, and it's here, A&M, Mississippi State, wherever, Alabama, wherever, you got to win. And if you don't, there's opportunities for you to be unemployed. That's just how it is, and that's what we sign up for. So I look at this as an opportunity for us to change our team, keep the ones, that are good players for us and good kids, and change our team, give us a chance to do that. And I think financially we're going to have the money from the NIL to do that. And I think when all that happens, I think we can build a really, really good football team. And I'm excited about, obviously, Saturday, but I'm really excited about the future.
Coach, I was looking, saw Coach Drinkwitz.
Excuse me, sorry.
You're good. Coach Drinkwitz said earlier, kind of along the lines of what you just said. He said that Arkansas, what Hunter put out saying he's bringing you back was the absolute right decision. I was just curious what you think about that and your relationship with Coach Drinkwitz.
Well, he's a good man. And, the thing with Drink is you look at it, and you look at came in, had a nice season that first year, all SEC season. And then last year he was close, 2 years ago, closed, this, that, and the other. And next year closed and all that kind of stuff, and finished, 6-6. And then this year, they had as good a team as we have in SEC. And, they stayed, and I'm not saying they're going to fire. I'm not saying that. They stayed with it. And he's got a lot of seniors on his team, and is doing a great job over there. So I appreciate him saying that. I don't know that, but I appreciate him saying that. And that's just a good person saying what he feels. So I appreciate that.
And you kind of said there that you think you'll have the NIL funding that you need. I guess, was there something that changed between last week and this week that made you feel that way?
No, well, yes, but I don't want to talk about it, right now. But kind of believe that, but forget what the question was. The answer was no, I think.
What changed
Yeah,
last
I
week?
just feel good about it.
Okay.
And I think, yeah,
what you inherited here and you had to build fast. So what did you learn from that that you can do it again, like rebuild? And what would you say to fans who peeled off from you in this program?
yeah. Well, I don't, how they handle that, we want to earn their trust and come back, and I think that's anyway, you have to show what you can do. And I think that when we do, I think we'll get it back. But I understand. The other part about it is it's a different world than the first time when I was here. And I mean, the first years I was here, different world than the first time I was here because you did it through the portal, through transfers, senior transfers, and all that kind of stuff. Now you're doing it through recruiting, NIL. It's just things that change. I actually think it's easier to change the program now than when we first came in. Felipe Franks was here Saturday, and to me, he was that key guy that we needed that first year. Both publicly, hey, Felipe Franks wants to come, and then obviously on the field, and so I think recruiting. I think we can recruit against anybody. It's just you can't recruit against anybody financially, and I really think I feel good about where we're sitting now, and if that's the case, then I think we have to recruit against and fare well against anybody.
In 21, your team was underdog a lot. In 20, and you won a lot of games in underdog, so you kind of overperformed. This year, you've been the favorite in some games and haven't shown up. What's the difference? How do you get that back?
Well, I mean, Tom, that's a little rough now. You can ask a question different than we haven't shown up. I think there's one game that was bad. There's other ones that. But anyway, I don't want to get into it. What was the rest of the question? Well, I think we've addressed some of that, and that you have to recruit your way out of it. I think that's part of it. Obviously, injuries have played a part of it as well, but everybody has injuries, and everybody has an opportunity to have filled the best team they have by recruiting. This year, we've lost a lot of close games, and some of them we played pretty good in, but we lost. So we just need to go out and we got to get the offensive line. That's the number one. We got to go after that. That's the number one thing, and continue to develop the guys we have now. But I don't look at it, and obviously you do, but I don't look at it as non-competitive. I look at it as we got to change the roster some. And I think we have all kinds of chances to do that. So,
the last couple of years, this year you've got 5 games, touchdown or less.
Yeah.
Last year had a similar number.
Yeah.
If you put a lot of thought into what you can do, because if you turn those, your share of those games around, nobody's having this conversation. Have you put thought into that?
Well, obviously we have. I think that's got to be our biggest study in the off season. Did it just happen and we played really well, and the last drives, what did we do? what was my decisions during the game that affected the game, positive or negative. You know, I think really we got to sit down and figure all that out. We obviously do that each week per game, but in totality, we haven't, you know, obviously this year, but we need to do that and figure out how we can. And it's not just as simple as, well, somebody's got to make a play, you know. There's a lot of reasons that go into that, and really it's not the last quarter as much as it might be you wasted 4 points in the first quarter. You know, we get a pick and we settle for a field goal, whatever it may be. How can we change that to be maybe it's more aggressive with our play calling? Maybe we've got to change our roster. Maybe we've got to, you know, I've got to do a better job, whatever it is, but be brutally honest with how to win those close games. And that's the difference. I mean, you look at Missouri that they're playing. They've really played well and blown some teams out, but they've also won some close games as of Saturday. And so we got to figure all that stuff out.
You mentioned the kids and the recruiting, and you've spoken with us about your own confidence and your job security. I'm just wondering, emotionally for you, Hunter, what he did, you know, Saturday night and Sunday, did that have any, you know, relief for you, or was, you know, I guess maybe you weren't surprised by it?
I wasn't. I mean, we've never had a conversation that I was ever going to get fired or anything of that nature. The pressure that I had was one on myself, more about the people employed in the building, more about the state, the fans. You know, nobody wants to disappoint anybody that has character about them, and so it was never, and I mean this, it was never one time about me. Never. It was always about the recruits, the kids I'm coaching, the building, and the state of Arkansas. You know, I've lived a dream life, and I want to continue to do it, but it never was about me, nothing like that. So there was the relief part of it was more of for the kids, for the building, for recruiting, all those type things, and I was really happy that he did it because I think it needed to go out publicly so we could move forward and have an opportunity to continue to progress and change the football team and recruiting as well.
It's been some journey for Cody Schrader, Missouri's running back. I'm just curious, like, what did you see from him? I don't know if you've watched him a lot before Missouri, but for him to kind of slip through the cracks, and what makes him such a good SEC?
Well, one is his determination and his drive. I mean, obviously he's very talented, fast, reads holes unbelievably well, and can run over you, run away from you. But you know, he went to Truman State, and Truman State used to be old Northeast Missouri State. When I was at Pitt State, we played them in the Moelia Shrine Bowl. Got beat, by the way. But you know, he fits, in my opinion, he fits Missouri well. He would fit into our place, you know, tough physical programs, things of that nature. But what he's done has earned everything, every accolade. He's over 1,200 yards rushing right now. That, you know, obviously you got to have a really good offensive line, the wideouts blocking on the edge and stuff to get that as well. But I'm just, you know, I'm happy for him that he took that chance, went in there, and is one of the top running backs out there in the country, and it's a really, really neat story.
Wondering if you have maybe any injury updates, Rocket, R-Dub, and Braxton.
Rocket has a labral tear, and so he at some point here in the next few days he'll have to get that repaired. Rashad has a meniscus tear, which is actually better news than what I thought on Saturday, and he is probably just getting out of that surgery right now. I don't know who else. But Braxton, he practiced yesterday, so I don't know if he'll be able to play in it, but he practiced yesterday. But the entire play. Patrick practiced yesterday as well. The entire play.
And as far as your coaching staff goes, obviously, the defensive coaching staff has been, received a lot of praise. You feel confident about being able to keep the staff together after this year?
Well, I feel as confident as I do. I have the first 3 years. Obviously, if you do a fine job, people are going to come look at you and things of that nature, as they did myself when I was an assistant. But not any different than normally. You're going to somebody's going to come in and say, I've got a job opportunity. Somebody, it happens every year, and then it's up to me to figure out how much they're worth to keep them or not. To be honest with you.
Yeah, this is going to be the last East-West game because the divisions are going away. You've been in the league a long time, and you've been coaching the East Coast. I just wonder, how have you thought the divisional setup has worked, and what do you think about the future without divisions?
Obviously the West, went through its time of being probably very, very difficult, and then the East went. I'm talking about from top to bottom. The East had its time in there as well, where it was unbelievably strong top to bottom. I really like how they have it set up, where the kid comes in, he stays 4 years, he's able to play in every stadium and in the SEC and play at home and home with everybody in the SEC. And so I'm really excited about the future of doing those things, keeping Missouri as our rivalry game and things of that nature. And I think most of the rivalry games were able to get kept. Some obviously won't get to play each other every year, but most of them did. And so I'm really excited about how they set it up, to be honest with you, Bob. And I don't know that it's going to be any harder than what it was normally, just simply because we still have the same number of conference games. It just depends on who you draw and where they're at that year, where if they're playing well or not that year. But obviously it's a logo conference. It's the best in America. Not saying that other teams don't have great teams, but certainly proud to be a part of this new era of the SEC.
With Rocket and Division being out, kind of what's the plan? Running back, obviously Isaiah had a good game. Just how do you feel about the running backs? They just had him 2 guys now.
Well, we have 3 left, so Isaiah obviously earned his carry time. Dominique earned, he looked really good the other night, I thought, and certainly AJ. So obviously we're going to try to rev up 23 a little bit more after his performance. And I really like that Dominique when he got his shoulders turned. I thought he really did some good things of moving the pile and things, a big man. And more importantly, I think he probably got some confidence out of it. He really hadn't had a lot of confidence in that meet. He just had it. Since some guys get it over it earlier, faster than others. But I think he got some confidence out of a few of those really good runs that he made.
You faced a fair amount of really talented offenses this year, but the combo of Burton, Cook, Schrader up there in terms of balance, not just in the SEC, in terms of the entire country. What sort of challenges does that offense bring to you on Friday?
Well, a lot, because are you going to play man-to-man coverage and try to stop all the stretch plays and nakeds, all those things? Because because Cook's fast. Like fast, and can hurt you with his legs and his arm. Weiss, the transfer that came in, he's outstanding. So they have with Cooper too, the other wideout. They're talented. So it's going to be very difficult. We're going to have to show them a lot of different looks, show them a lot of different things. Obviously, they have a check system too, so we're going to have to be ready if they check, things of that nature that we're going to have to tackle well in space, and we're going to have to tackle running back. We don't have to get him on the ground without him breaking tackles. It's a very, very tall task. They've got a really good offense, but we've played a lot of good offenses this year, but they are probably the most balanced star skill players as anybody in the conference. They have a lot of stars there that can hurt you on any given play. So we're going to have to play really well.
And I just wanted to ask you quickly about senior day. I know there's eligibility stuff with some people that can come back, but the first group of guys you've kind of seen freshman for senior, freshman, or for the 4 years of you being here, how important is it for you to honor those guys and up and down season, but the chance to do it ahead of a rival again?
Very, because they stay with us for 4 years. That's almost that's not the norm anymore. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying anything good or bad about that, but the guys that came in here and like Brady and Bo and KJ and all that, there's several that are here for their last game and then all they put into the program and had a lot of great moments with them, and obviously had some down moments as well. But they basically. I feel bad for them because we're not being able to go to a bowl because that group of guys kind of changed where we were to respectability. At times we've been ranked in the top 10 over the last 2 years or 2 previous years, and man, to say you could get there from the 4 and 20. These kids really work their tail off, and it'll be an emotional deal when they leave because they've really been good to me, good to our staff, and I believe good to the state.
Seniors walking, and is there anybody else who doesn't classify? How early are you gonna have to start?
No, not all 26. Some of them had opted out of it. There'll be a lot of them out there. Again, I think it's 13. It might be 12 that are definitely not coming back. They're in bright red on our board, and that means they don't even have a +1. So there's no conversations to have. So we know those will be out there, and then guys like Hudson Clark, he'll be out there, like that. But he has a +1, and Brady and Bo and all those guys, they have a +1. And we'll try to figure all that out on Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday of the next week. It's obviously a dead period, so you have time to bring them in, talk to them, and see what they want to do with their future. But they'll be out there as well. KJ, he'll be out there, and he has a +1 too. So, who knows what's going to happen with all that stuff. But we're definitely going to have an opportunity to talk to them. But they'll be out there. I think the only, there are some guys I want to talk to, to get them back. But I don't think we have anybody. No, I don't think you'll be surprised with somebody out there that you go, man, that's a surprise. I don't believe that.
Okay. Okay, not just a little bit ago. When you talk about NIL and feeling better about the situation, I'm wondering, it's my mind is working, I guess. Does it make a lot more sense to throw your support behind you and instead of buying you out for millions and millions of dollars and buying out for your staff and buying out some other coach coming here and maybe asking power brokers or other people throw that money behind NIL and let's build this roster up?
Are you asking me, does it make more sense to raise your NIL? Well, you got it. Yeah. Well, I mean, obviously, I believe in me and I believe in our staff. So I would say whichever one of the two you said first, I think if you said give us an opportunity NIL wise to see what we can do, I think that would be the smartest thing to do. Sometimes you got to be careful what you wish for. Change the program, it might get worse too. You know? But if you, so, yeah, I think we get the budget and this, that, and other. We can go recruit. We're Arkansas. We have a love for here. I think we can go recruit against anybody. But it's hard if you don't.
Had the upper hand in there. I think 7-2 if you guys became
Yeah.
permanent. Arkansas had more tradition and more facilities. How do you explain maybe the?
Well, Barry was over there for 4 of them, you know, and then where we 1 and 2. I don't know, you know, there was times in there where Missouri's been really good too. You know, let's say this, they've had better seasons than we have over the last, well, not necessarily last year or the year before, but you know, before that they had, and this year. But most time it's a really close game, and we haven't come out on top. Obviously, if it's 7-2, I didn't know that. But thinking about it, it has to be not very good because they're in the biggest 4 times as well.
You talked about Brady Cook being fast. What is it that's maybe got him is playing as well as
They're confident. What they do is exactly what he does well. He can throw it out of the pocket. They move him a lot, play action. But their entire team is playing with a tremendous amount of confidence, which they should. And then they're 9-2 and ranked in the top 10 in the country. But you can see him just growing each and every week. I remember seeing him press conference when Elon and he was talking about how, you know, where he booed him, you know, during the game, and he was upset about it, you know, and talked about it. But from that time on, he's been, and he was probably good that game too, but he's a really good player. A lot of people like that, yeah.
I can remember when Coach Drinkwitz was an assistant at Springdale High School not all that long ago, and he's had this success. What is it about him, do you think, that's allowed him and them to be this successful?
Well, I think he's a really good play caller. And I think he's really good at organization and those things. And this year's been a wonderful year for him. And I think he's really done a good job of getting his roster like he wants it.
Coach, you kind of mentioned the future a couple of times throughout this press conference. Obviously, your job situation has been resolved, and you've mentioned how it's going to help you recruiting. How do you view this game and importance of sort of building momentum off of that with the program?
That's a good question. I think it's important. You know, I don't think it's. I don't know that it's going to hurt us in recruiting if we happen to not win, but I know it could really, really help us and give us spark in everything, and that's the plan. I mean, we're going out obviously to play really well, but I think it could certainly. You know, we haven't beat a ranked team opponent this year, and we have the previous, I guess, all 3 of the other years. But that would be our opportunity to do that.
BetOnline is your #1 source for all your betting needs. Get the latest odds, lines, and matchup reports for baseball, boxing, golf, and more. BetOnline continues to be the fastest and easiest way to place your wagers, including live betting and your favorite casino and card games available to play right from your phone. Head to the website or use your mobile device to sign up today and get in on the action. Remember to use our promo code BELIEVE, that's BLEAV, for your 50% welcome bonus on your first deposit. Bet online, where the game starts.